Hello and welcome yet again to another episode of The Naked Turner. Today I started out by making some segmented pieces of walnut to do a large salad bowl. So let me show you how I made those segments. I made those segments as you can see on some of my other segmented videos using the wedgie sled. If you are seriously considering doing any segmented pieces, you're going to want to make yourself one of these wedgie sleds and the stop for your wedgie sled, and something I don't have here on my table saw now, but the little slanted ramp that will direct your wedges away from the blade so they don't get kicked out and back at you. This is a very simple design, very easy for pretty much anybody with some woodworking skills to create. Go online, look up wedgie sled, and you can make your own wedgie sled. They have open source freeware plans on how to make the wedgie sled, and then by all means watch all the videos on segmentology using the wedgie sled. The segmentology series is an incredible series put together by Mr. Pickett, and it's definitely worth the watch if you're considering doing any segmented turning. And even, you know what, even if you're not going to be doing any segmented turning, make yourself one of these. It's something that's nice to have around for little segmented rings that you might want for some piece. Here's one of the larger rings I made, and the nice thing about this, it requires very little clamping, because when the wedgie sled is done cutting these joints, there's no sanding required. You don't have to do half the ring and then sand the two spots at the half points or the equator line of that ring. You no longer need to sand those 2 points to get them together, which means all of your segments are exactly the same size. So you end up with nice rings that are easy to glue up, and it goes relatively quickly. So I have a solid layer with a large mortise in the end, walnut, 12 walnut segments here, 12 walnut segments here, 12 here, and then the final ring that I just showed you will be going on here. And actually I'm thinking I may do one more ring after that, depending on how the bowl looks. This is going to be kind of an odd bowl. I didn't do a lot of math on figuring out the shape. I just kind of started with some pieces I had and was trying to maximize them. So we'll see how this one turns out. But I just wanted to share with you this piece of segmented work that I'm starting on. Alright, so I just sanded this last ring here down. Now what I'm going to be doing is applying some hot melt glue in a few strategic locations around this, and then what I'll do is surface sand off this side and then flip that side over. Since that will now be flat, I'll disconnect the hot glue joints from over here and then flip the piece around and do an actual glue up from this face to the previously surfaced face on this side, and then I should get a really nice good glue joint without having the advantage of a good drum sander. Sorry about the shaky cam. Okay, so I have it hot glued on. Safety. Running this down around 800. Real light passes. Getting close. see, I still have a ways more to go, but I'm getting close. In. All right, so I'll have more of that flattening, then I'll pop it off, spin it around, and it'll be ready for glue up. All right, so I have it really nicely surfaced off here, and all I did, as you saw, was do the scraping and then a sanding board to achieve the final flat. And it's super flat all the way around. It's going to be real nice. I got a good glue up on this. So now what I'm going to do is pop the hot glue. I'll cut it with a mat knife. Just take the back, slice it with a mat knife, and pop it off. I just did a fairly small bead all the way around the outer edge. And I'll get that off, and then I'll glue it up to the other surface. Alright, so now I have the two sanded surfaces touching each other. I have not glued it yet, but what I've done is centered it as best as I could, and now I put 4 of these registration blocks hot glued to the ring. That way they're not even, it's not even being held on here right now. I can just slip it right off. See how there's a gap there now? I'll just slide this off, glue it up. It'll go right back into the position that I've found for it where I like the fit up. Alright, so I've got it glued up. It's looking real nice there. And then I've got it pressurized by my tailstock with just a little bit of pressure on it. And it's got good glue squeeze out on the inside as well. I checked when I did the fitment and kind of wiggled it around to make sure the glue is making full contact everywhere. And now all I'm doing, I'm going along and I'm going to wipe away all the excess glue out of here, and I'll knock off my glue tabs. And then I'll be ready to start turning. What I might actually do is once I get this glue cleaned up pretty well, I may just take and do a hot bead glue around here temporarily just as a clamp, and that way what I can do is in a few minutes relieve some of the pressure off of my bearing that's being applied by the tailstock right now, just so that my bearing's not retaining pressure for too long that doesn't need to be there. Alright, so the glue is still drying, but I have it under tension. I have a hot glue bead back here. I'm going to take a little of the wobble out of this piece. Right about there. around. Okay, a couple more tiny flat spots right there, but we're just about into round. Okay, a little clear straight. Go. One tiny little flat spot there. All right. I think that's got it. Yep, that's it. Beauty. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of shaping here along this back edge. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of this. Try to stay out of the camera's way. All right, I'm doing some more shaping here. The back side. spinning really close to the shape I'm looking for. And then I might just blend this a little bit more too here, maybe a little more rounded there. We'll see once I open it up and look at the inside here in a few minutes. It's still curing up, so I'm not going to take all the pressure off right now. I'm going to do a little bit more blending in here with my scraper. Let's see how this is going to react here. All right, that's looking real good for right now. I'm going to continue to let it cure up, but this is a nice start for this piece. And let's see just how big it is. This piece is 16 inches, and it'll be just under 8, 7 and probably 7/8 of an inch. 7 7/8 by 16 inches. So that'll be a nice, good sized salad bowl, walnut salad bowl. Alright, so I have it shaped, sanded up to 320. Now I'm applying some Yorkshire grit here, and I'm just going to rub that in, let it sit for a couple seconds, and then start the wet sanding process. But I think this piece is going to actually turn out absolutely beautifully. So the thing I love about Yorkshire grit is you put it on, you start out spinning down with slow, maybe on something this large, like around 300 or 400, and then you slowly just burnish it. I was in the forward speed first, now I'm in the reverse speed, and now I'm up around 1,000 RPM on this larger piece, which is pretty fast since this happens to be 16 inches out here. This is actually traveling extremely quickly, and it's actually probably faster than you would want to be turning on this safely. But because I have tailstock pressure on the end and I feel pretty confident about the glue joints that I have, I'm now spinning it up a little faster. I'm even going to go up here now to 1200 RPM, and then just reverse burnish polishing and finding clean piece of rag every once in a while, switching to a new clean spot until I don't see any more of the grit coming off. Right about like that. That's pretty good. Okay, let's stop it. Let's take a look at that. So there you go. That's with just the friction polishing of the Yorkshire grit. And that's what I like about Yorkshire grit. Quick, easy sanding, no dust is being generated. I'm getting a finish on this probably right up around 1,000 grit sandpaper, and because of that, I really like it. Now what I'm going to do is take, this is what I've been doing, is now I take some of this Howard's Butcher Block conditioner, and I apply some of that, which is just an oil and a wax, and it's food safe. Apply some of that there, and then maybe apply some more of it out here around the rim. And you can see that really oils this up. The other thing, I don't have any right now, but I probably would use walnut oil if I had the walnut oil. I just don't have any. I have to get some more. Otherwise, yeah, I would just put a bunch of walnut oil on here and then let that harden over the next 24 hours. And you'd have a really nice food grade hard shell finish. Anyway, there's this piece. I'm getting ready to start hollowing out the inside in probably another couple hours once everything is completely set up. Around, and I'm hollowing out the inside. Looking good.